I'm not sure when the first time was that I heard about AIDS Action Europe, but I became a director of the European AIDS Treatment Group in 2009. And that is definitely the moment when I started collaborating more closely with people like Martin, later on also with Ferenc. And as a director, I had, for example, board members also being part of the board of AIDS Action Europe and the other way around. So there was a very close collaboration between the two organizations, which I think is still there. I always have considered AIDS Action Europe and EATG as partners in a joint battle, in a joint action. And for me, the role of AIDS Action Europe has definitely been the one of defending all different communities, the aspect of social justice, of legislation. And I felt that there was a bit of a symbiotic partnership between the two, where the focus of EATG was always more on scientific development, on the treatment, and AIDS Action Europe was then more focusing on legal context, on barriers for people to fully have their rights acknowledged by systems, by structures, by society. And so, yeah, I think that the way we were jointly part of different committees, different networks, made that we inspired each other, I think. And we jointly also tried to broaden the scope, so it happened that we really started projects more in Eastern Europe. We started reaching out to different communities. And I think that diversification really strengthened the work we did with bringing in much more voices, bringing in much more focus of different groups, of different elements that were connected to HIV. And I think as organizations, we really managed to bring things on the agenda of different stakeholders. And I think the early testing, for example, was one of the success stories where the European HIV Testing Week came out. So we've really managed, I think, to grow with the years and also with the knowledge and experience of HIV, and to make people accountable, to also make sure that different initiatives were set up. And both organizations have really been piloting things there and played a crucial role in the advocacy. I really remember the part when HIV in Europe initiative was started, also when Civil Society Forum was there, the strong collaboration on that level. But for me personally, the things that I remember strongest is the way we organized booths and zones together at AIDS conferences, which I think allowed really to bring in a whole lot of people in presentations that were there, and time after time we really tried to focus on different topics, different thematic areas, different regions, different communities, and for me that was really something that brought added value, especially as we wanted to also put the European region a bit more into spotlight at conferences, where quite often it was different parts of the world that got most sessions. In Washington, it was one of the conferences where we really felt that kind of Western world could mean a bit more, and especially because, of course, HIV, the region most affected by it is the African region, and I think it was especially when it was moving more to Western world that we also thought, like, this is a moment for Europe also to bring more attention to the different needs, the different concerns, different challenges in a region that really goes from quite rich countries to poor countries and to regions very highly affected by HIV and others less, but also with this whole range of different communities that were hit by it. Yes, that I think this feeling of we are here as a group, and despite our differences, despite our different approaches, we are standing for the same goal, and that definitely had an impact. And quite often joined meetings with Martine de Schutter at the time, and as a person, she really inspired me some things by the way she approached things, and yeah. Still today, I cannot think about AIDS Action Europe anymore without thinking about Martine and then what happened. For me, this is part of the legacy, actually, that I, as a person, have and appreciate a lot. When I started as a director within EHG, I also started then going more to meetings that previously I had not attended. As a member of EHG, I was part of ACAP, of different groups, but I didn't go to more of the higher level policy meetings or also the stakeholders one. And to be very honest, Martine, she kind of took me by the hand in the beginning and helped me really finding my place there. And she did that in a very natural way. And as I was saying before, I really feel that for me, the collaboration between EHG and AIDS Action Europe has always been a very inspirational one, and she was part of that creation. And I say inspirational because I really feel that it's an example of how two organizations that work on the same topic but with different focus can still be collaborating and strongly supporting each other. So in a world where quite often you see competition, there was more of friendship, of real intense collaboration, and of trying to find ways to strengthen each other instead of to compete each other. And it's a culture that, in my opinion, she cultivated and that I very much appreciated. I work at the moment in an organization that is focusing much more on sexual reproductive rights. And I think for HIV also, taking in a broader scope, especially also on our heading of human rights, becomes more crucial than ever when you see how in the European region quite some countries are really challenging some of the values and principles and rights that have been acquired throughout the years. And I think that AIDS Action Europe could really continue doing its work, but I feel also that basic human rights should be respected, and the lack of that should be challenged probably much stronger, because it's mostly those communities most vulnerable that are the first ones to be hit by it and that suffer the strongest from it. And so you have this interconnection between basic rights, then HIV related topics, but looking at the different communities as well, which when we work, it is connected also to the rights of sex workers, of people that are using drugs, of migrants, and I see a strengthening of networking, of collaboration there, definitely also as part of that involvement and of that continuation of our fight for equality and equal human rights. AIDS Action Europe really had this pure approach of equal rights and of different communities that need to be respected, that have their own needs. And through AIDS Action Europe and also the work within EATG as such, I've come in contact with different organizations. And it broadened my scope, I must say, because you always start from your own perspective, your own framework, and listening to others and really seeing how other groups are affected in the same or in different ways makes you really see how quite often the same mechanisms play, and that it's really a structural issue. And for me as a person, I think I learned a lot on also broadening my scope, on also considering these different elements and for me, I hope it made me a more open person and also a person that can have better understanding of yeah, why people still need to struggle today for their rights to be respected, and because quite often you take things easily, or you think like yeah, everything is fine, but then when you listen to the individuals, and I met really great people within AIDS Action Europe, and yeah, I think they helped me becoming who I am today. Ik wens een heel gelukkige verjaardag toe aan AIDS Action Europe. And I do see still a big future for them, for you all, for us all, especially because the challenges remain. And in a certain way, I would say more of the same, please, although it's probably not going to be the same, but with different approaches, with more modern approaches. But let the work continue, and I really, really hope that we as organizations will continue this strong partnership and collaboration in the future. So happy 20 years more for now.